I'm Alistair Dyson, Managing Director and Co-founder of Michael Dyson Associates. Michael Dyson is my father. He founded the business in 1980. My father had an interest in concrete and concrete repair, and in the early 80s there were problems came to light with what are known as PLC houses, and we started getting involved as a business in the structural repair and the investigation of those properties. As the business progressed through the 1990s and into the noughties, the business started supporting the work it was doing with quantity surveying, with project management, and with a certain amount of stock condition survey work. And that diversified us into a more multidisciplinary consultancy. From 2000 onwards, the business got involved with a lot of work to do with the government's Decent Homes programme, with contractors as well as working for more councils and housing associations. We have three operational departments: asset management consultancy, which is mainly building surveyors and business planning. We have contract administration, which is quantity surveyors and project managers. And we also have design, which is architects, architectural technologists doing work on the Rebirth 0 to 7 scale. We've had placement positions in the business for 15 years now, and generally speaking, every year we take in at least 600 graduates. We've got graduates who have come into the business and stayed with us. We've obviously got some graduates who've moved on, but one of our directors, Michael Brown, was an undergraduate with us 15 years ago. In conclusion, we have a lovely business with some super people, talented staff, and great opportunities for undergraduates and returning graduates.
My name is Oliver Booth. I'm a project leader at Michael Dyson Associates. I studied at Northumbria University. I studied building surveying, and I graduated in 2019. I work in the contract administration department. We provide project management, employees agent, contract administration services, as well as other services such as CDM advisor, as well as party wall advisor. The contract administration department is made up of a director/unit head. We also have senior project managers, project leaders, and our current undergraduate. The job is sort of a 50-50 based in the office and on site, so I get to see a different picture every day. It's nothing the same every day. The majority of my jobs are based in sort of London area, however we've got jobs nationwide. We are currently working in Scotland, retrofitting sprinkler systems to high-rise blocks. We are working in Lewisham, currently replacing cladding following the Grenfell disaster. We are also working on a new build scheme in Essex, which is circa 100 new properties. I'm also involved in various levels of refurbishment, including kitchen bathrooms to full refurbishment. And following graduation, I was involved in a new build extension to a school in Slough. I chose to apply to Michael Dyson Associates because I'd attended a university fair at Northumbria University, where obviously Michael Dyson Associates were present. And I went from there. I applied. The company's quite local to me, so it was a really good opportunity. I applied and I was offered a position. Last year at university, obviously it was a very tough year. I had the exposure to sort of meeting clients, dealing with clients, varied amount of surveys, so obviously that had run into my final year. With my dissertation, I also got a lot of support from several senior members of the staff at Michael Dyson Associates who helped me through my dissertation process. All in all, I received a first-class degree in building surveying from Northumbria University. Following the completion of my placement, I was offered an opportunity to come back, as well as being sponsored at uni. This meant I was financially supported in my final year in uni, which meant I didn't have to sort of apply for any part-time jobs. I was supported through there, so I could obviously work harder and achieve the sort of level I got. And there was also a promise of a job at the end of that as a returning graduate. The advice I give for any student looking for a placement would be to obviously research the employer's website, make sure you sort of understand their work, what they do, and you're interested in the project, so look at the projects, make sure you know something about the company, because it'll look in your interview. If you've been to a uni fair and you've met some of our staff, obviously mention that in your application and all that sort of stuff, because it shows that you're sort of making an effort to impress. On my placement, I was obviously heavily involved in a number of jobs. It can be quite challenging at times, but there was always that senior level of support, and any help I required, there was always someone there to answer my questions. With working at Michael Dyson Associates, it's a proper job, and it does involve a lot of hard work and commitment. It's not a job where you just sort of assisting. You are a part of a team. Michael Dyson Associates' head office is based in Home Firth. The office is a converted farmhouse, and it's full of modern facilities, including boardrooms, conference rooms, offices, and a separate new addition to the office to house our asset management team and my own team, contract administration. And the skills I gained working for Michael Dyson Associates on the placement included sort of an improvement to my interpersonal skills, an improvement in confidence, and an overall arching improving of my knowledge really to return back to uni in my fourth year. In terms of my long-term career goals, I'm currently progressing my chartered status with the RICS. Throughout my placement year, I was always given support on the pathway I chose with my RICS, it's obviously building surveying, but there's plenty sort of senior members of staff who can give you support with that, and we hold regular workshops which you can be involved in, where we run through competencies of each pathway. Good.
My name's Jamie Neville. I'm from North Wales, a little town called Ross-on-Sea. I'm studying Liverpool John Moores University and I'm studying quantity surveying. Long-term career aspiration would be to become a chartered surveyor. I wanted to do a placement year because I thought it'd make me a lot more employable down the line in my career, and it's sort of, when you're in uni, it's all just textbooks. I think I went to site once when I was in university, so it allowed me to see the industry firsthand, which is just, I think, helped me massively. I first heard about MDA at a uni careers fair. I just went over and spoke to the past undergraduate when I was there, and it sounded dead positive, so I thought I'd send my CV across and went from there. So before I started, there was a little test in the interview, which was fine, I think. I started panicking, but it wasn't ideal turning up and having to do a test, but I don't know what I got. I don't know. I found out I got the job. Sue phoned me in a lecture when I was in university, so I had to run out the room, answer it, and just sort of confirm that all was okay, and then they're going to send the contract in the post. My first week in MDA was productive. Did a lot of inductions, a lot of sort of just basic knowledge of what you need to know in the industry. My first day on site with a project manager at Michael Dyson's office. We then travelled down to Luton. We did clerk of works inspection on the two high-rise blocks in Luton, refitting cladding. So we went there, and then we continued our job around Luton. We did some CDM, principal designer surveys. Just went and advised went to 2 different sites, and we just sort of picked up points, did our audits, said what they needed to improve on there, and then the day after we wrote them up, sent them to the contractor and the client for them to improve on them, and then the client's got it as written reference. The thing I enjoyed most about my placement year was the vast travelling around the country, seeing different parts of the UK that I'd never normally seen, meeting new people that I wouldn't normally mix with, and just learning so much within a short space of time. It's just, although it's helped me develop as a person massively, it's also an enjoyable process. You're definitely on the right track, so I'd definitely advise you to do a placement. Just gives you so much experience. I'd make sure you go into the right company. I'd also make sure you research the company so you know what you're getting yourself in for, because at Dyson's is really full on. You're valued as a full team member throughout the whole placement year, whereas some of my mates have been less fortunate and been making a few teas, coffees. The most important thing I've learned on placement is that it is important to work collaboratively with your project team members, but also your members in your own team in the office, because they're the people that you'll learn the most off. So if you work with them and the people that you're working your projects with, you're bound to learn so much more. My favourite project was working on a number of high-rise buildings down in London. It was towards the end of my placement year. I was doing the contract documents and the tender documents, which is I enjoyed that, so that's probably my favourite project. But favourite site would be probably Northwich with Redrow. They're just classy contractor, nice and tidy site, and it was just an easy process going to site. You knew what had been done would be done, and it was just, it was an ideal job. Kennington's my favourite services because it's got a Mackey's, it's got a Costa, and it's got a nice little terrace. You can have your Mackey's in and look over a little lake. Placement in my future career would definitely make me more employable. It's allowed me to learn and develop endless knowledge that I would never have been able to if I didn't take a placement. But not only does it allow me to gain knowledge, but it's allowed me to gain contacts as well in the industry. That's a really good thing for future life.
I hope you found this introduction to Michael Dyson Associates helpful. Obviously, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.